So, do you prefer a scrubby soap in the middle of winter or in the middle of summer? I mean, for me, the answer to that is yes to both because I like scrubby soaps. But I've noticed that certain soaps sell better in the summertime than they do the wintertime. And today I'm going to show you one that sells really, really well in the summertime. But before I get into that, hi, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are here for another round of 365 days of soap, and today we are doing the Loofah soaps. Now, my Loofah soaps are awesome. I love everything about them. They have a natural loofah sponge inside of them, so it has this awesome exfoliating power throughout the sudsing and the cleansing and the moisturizing of the things, which are really great. The not so great thing is that whenever I make a new batch, they sell it immediately, and then I'm scrambling to make more. So we made a whole bunch this time, and we are going to show you one of them today. Now, for the new line for the summer, we have 4 new scents, and this one is the green tea. And so, let's go check out what we did to the green tea loofah soap. Okay, now loofah soaps, they are actually pretty awesome because those cool things right there are natural loofah. And I think they're called like cucumber of the sea or something, which is very confusing because they don't actually come from the sea. They look a lot like, a big giant cucumber, and you dry them out and de-seed them, and you're left with this awesome natural exfoliating, thing. Now, when you are going to put loofah into soap, you want to make sure that it gets soaked before you do so. Now, that's, same concept as, a damp rag will actually soak up more liquid in a spill than a dry, because yeah. And so we let these soak for a couple hours before we actually put them into the soap to ensure that it will soak up as much soap batter as possible, so the entire thing gets saturated and you're not missing soap essentially in your bar, because you would feel cheated. That'd be terrible. Now, this particular blend, because we are doing the loofah inside of the soap, I want to make sure that this blend is a very, very long-lasting bar, because essentially with every soap that you get, you have a percentage of the total weight as loofah and not soap. And so this one has a pretty high amount of solid oils. We have coconut oil as well as shea in this one, and it will yield a longer lasting bar as a result. So it's about a 60% solid oil to a 40% liquid. Now, normally when working with an oil blend this, full of solid oils, you're going to be running into some problems as far as things getting too thick too fast. So we are soaping very low for this one to give it lots of work time, but not so low that the the coconut oil will, firm up. So it's about 85 degrees right now. And we are doing a 2-color swirl for this particular guy. And we're gonna have the white and the green. I don't do a whole lot as far as design goes with my loofah soaps, because they sort of, they send their own. They're just the loofah inside of these looks cool. So we usually just do, 1 color, 1 solid color, or, no more than 2 for an in the pot swirl thing. Now, again, this is a green tea loofah soap. So we have 4 loofahs this summer, and they are all tea themed. We have a tea theme going on for the summer loofah soaps, and that's cool. Now, this is going to be a green and white two-color swirl, and you'll have, you know, the green tea extract and everything going into that. And I love this green tea blend, actually. It's in my Zen Balm as well, in the bath bomb line, in the tea bombs, and it's absolutely delightful. One of my most favorite things in the world. It's very much a very calming one for me, which is interesting because green tea has lots of caffeine, so you would think that it's not calming, but for me the smell is calming and I really like it. Now, what we are doing here is we are getting the colors ready to go, and we will then put in the green tea to make it smell, you know, awesome. And Georgia will be reserving a portion of this soap batter to soak the loofah in before she actually puts it into the mold. Now that's a really good pro tip, and we will talk more about why you should do that in, you know, the actual pouring of the soap. But this is, you know, the process for a basic in the pot swirl, and everything's going lovely. Nothing is thickening up too much, and it all looks really good and should be a really good consistency to put inside a column mold, which is what we do the loofah soaps in. Now, the reason we do a loofah or a column for the loofah soaps is because having to cut all the loofah down into individual, like 1-inch chunks or whatever for the tray molds, yeah, that's a huge pain in the butt, and I can never get them cut straight. But if you just put them inside your column mold and then cut them all, you know, using your miter box or whatever afterwards, it makes the whole process much easier. Okay, so now we are on to the pour, and we have the loofah that have been soaking in water for a couple hours, and we're just going to squeeze all of the extra water out of them, and then we're going to go ahead and just dip them into the soap itself and get it ready for the pouring around it. Now, the reason we do this is because we want that soap batter, again, to saturate every point of that loofah. And I have noticed that if you use loofah dry in your soap batter, you have some very obvious, like, really dry pieces of loofah that never fully soften up, even with, you know, use in the shower. And then also, I've noticed that this is a good way to ensure that every single little, you know, pocket within the loofah is really well saturated, and there's like soap clinging to every little piece. And so that's definitely important in this process. So we have just taken to actually soaking the loofah and rolling it around in the soap batter before putting it into the column, as just part of our standard practice with making, you know, the loofah soaps. And this is, yeah, it's beautiful. I love watching in the pot swirls go into molds. It's just so much fun. Now, with these, you do want to make sure that you're banging down your column mold, your container, after every sort of, you know, insertion of the loofah, because you have a lot of extra volume going on in there, right? Just by nature of putting in, you know, the sponge. And you want to make sure that all of that soap batter is really, you know, it's down. It's really actually filling all the holes that the sponge is going to be leaving. So lots of banging with all of this, lots of pushing of the loofah to make sure everything is sitting where it's supposed to. It's not, you know, it's a multi-step thing, really, if you think about it, because with each insertion of the loofah, you definitely want to give it time to sort of set up underneath so the loofah doesn't start floating, although you don't really have that problem if you saturate it beforehand and, you know, soap in water. But also you want to make sure that you do a lot of banging to really get all that soap really far down into the mold and doing its thing. Now, Georgia noticed that she was going to need another piece of loofah for all of this that she wasn't sort of planning on to get to the top of this mold. So she grabbed another loofah and then had to soak it. So, you know, that sucks. It took longer, but it's, you know, it's all part of the process. And she is now going to figure out, really, just how exactly she's going to get the soap around this big loofah that's sticking out of the top. And I know you watch soap videos and everything, and it's like people just do things. Like even now, it totally, as you're watching it, you're like, oh yeah, she totally knows what she's doing. It's great. It's, you know, this was all intentional or whatever. But I guarantee what was going through her head at this point was, okay, how am I going to get the rest of the soap in around this loofah to get rid of all the holes that the loofah is sort of creating around the, you know, the sides of the soap. And that's what she's doing here. You wouldn't know that though, because, you know, she's a professional and she's just doing the damn thing, but her brain is going, what do I do now? What we do now is let it set up overnight, and then we will cut it tomorrow and see how many, you know, holes are left. And the answer to that is, of course, there are no holes left, because Georgia May is a professional and she is good at everything that she does. So she figured that out. She did the thing, but you know, these are things that you are kind of stressing about when you are, you know, making soap. And it's like when you're using, you know, dividers and there's this impossibly small area to pour the soap in. Like, how am I going to get it in there? Or, you know, when you're doing the stupid, you know, pull through. Yeah, that too. And how am I going to center this down the center of a, you know, column without, you know, whatever. It's all a thing. So these are things that you're thinking about, even though it doesn't look like you're stressing. Yeah, sometimes it can be a stressful thing. Now, I do get the miter box out for these cuts, as well as a bread knife. Now, the reason I get a bread knife out for this is because it has a really good serrated edge. It's a really nice sharp blade that will cut through the loofah really easily without damaging the soap around it. Now, I'm cutting actually probably a few days earlier than I normally cut my loofah soaps. And the reason for that, I mean, because normally, you know, I C-pop everything, and I like to, you know, I do that so I can cut it quickly, and I like to cut my soap soft to sort of fix any problems or whatever. But when you are cutting a soap too soft, when it's a loofah soap, right, you are working against the, you know, the solid loofah inside, the solid sponge inside, and it is pushing down with the force of the blade. And if your soap is too soft, it is going to show up on the bottom of that sphere, and it's going to essentially flatten, you know, the circular shape. And so far so good with all of this. We haven't actually had any problems there wherein it's flattening anything, so that's good. But the serrated bread knife really does help get through everything without causing too much damage. And you know, sometimes I have to do a little, you know, hacksaw action with the bread knife itself to get it through the sponge, you know, better. But so far I've not had to do that with this one, so that's great. And when I have to do the hacksaw action, I've noticed that's when it actually causes more problems. And you know, you see that? You see how it smooshed? Yeah, it smooshed a lot with that one. So not only am I going to have to reshape that, I'm going to have to fix some holes as well. Now, this particular soap, because it has so much solid oil in it, it will cure up reasonably fast. These guys are usually ready to go in about 3 weeks, and that's not bad for a cure. And they, you know, it's a little bit difficult for this to really determine that, because the sponges will continue to soak up extra moisture too throughout the cure. But it's all, you know, it's all a thing. And those all look great. The smell of it is really amazing. The green tea blend is a slam dunk for me. I'm really excited to have these tea themed loofah soaps in the line for the summer. So, you know, this is one of 4, and the green tea day 94, super awesome soap. Love it. Now the smell on this one is absolutely amazing. I love everything about this green tea blend. We also use this same blend in the Zen Balm in the bath bomb lines, and you know, also equally great there too. But for these soaps, I love them no matter what they smell like. I love having the inclusion of the natural loofah in there. It's definitely an awesome addition. And you know, when you're done, you have a loofah that you can continue to, you know, scrub up and exfoliate with, or you know, clean the glass of your shower or whatever.
and which is awesome. I like that too. If you are interested in the green tea or any of the other 3 tea themed loofah soaps for the summer line, you can find them on the website at soapandclay.com. If you are interested in following me on social media, I'm there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I most often post on Facebook, but yeah, it's there, it's a thing. And if you are interested in following me here, that would be awesome. You can subscribe to the channel, you can, you know, hit the little button and do the thing. We are definitely still working toward our big soapy giveaway, so as soon as we hit 500 subs, we'll be picking one of those 500 subs to be given a $500 gift box of all the soapy, bathy, deodorant-y, hair-y things. Should have stopped that a few E's ago. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, so subscribe to the channel and do the things, and maybe you'll win it. And that pretty much does it for me today. Thank you again so much for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I will see you tomorrow.